Hi everyone! Today I have a very exciting video for you. I'm going to show you how you can integrate ChatGPT with LaTeX to create tables. Tables are actually usually one of the most complicated things to write in LaTeX. I have already another video on my YouTube channel in which I show you how to create a table from Python, use a tool that you can plug in into Excel, or use an online tool to convert a table from a CSV or an Excel file into a LaTeX format. But today I want to show you how you can leverage ChatGPT to create a LaTeX table. So we're going to start with a simple LaTeX table. Then we are going to specify a style, as you can see here, and we are going to import some data from Excel. Then I'm going to show you how to use the Booktabs in order to create very beautiful looking tables, which are ready to be copy and pasted inside your manuscript. I'm going to show you just an example how to create an ANOVA table. This is interesting because I can describe to ChatGPT what was my methodology used in my study, and then say to ChatGPT, well, I've used an ANOVA, can you just create a table? And then I just have to fill in the value inside the table. And also I want to show you how to create a table with long text and make sure that it is nicely formatted on your screen. So I'm going to show you all the prompt that you're going to be writing in ChatGPT. And I will put this prompt down in the video description, so you can always copy them from there and adjust them based on your needs. We are going to be using the free version of ChatGPT at the beginning, but then we're going to be using also Bing AI because they offer and they expose inside Bing AI ChatGPT 4, which is the latest model that is created. The advantage is that at this stage, which are 15th of May 2023, if you want to access the ChatGPT 4 model, you have to pay. But if you go through Bing AI and chat, we have access to ChatGPT 4. So let's get started. One last thing that I want to mention before we start is that I'm going to be using both VS Code to compile the LaTeX document and Overleaf. And this is going to work irrespectively of the compiler and the tool that you use to generate your PDF. So here inside VS Code, we need to have a main.txt file, and here I'm going to delete everything from this document. I'm just going to be keeping the title here at the top and the section, which is the first section. So let me just delete everything. So it's going to be a very simple document at the moment, and is going to look like this. So we just have the title, my name, the date, and we have the main.txt file. So let's write the first prompt to ChatGPT. Well, the most important thing that we need to do is that we need to provide some information to the model, because ChatGPT is super powerful. I can create a lot of things, but the more accurate and the more information we provide to ChatGPT, the better are going to be the results. And I'm going to show you that in a second. So we're going to be starting with just creating a simple table in which we are going to have a few headers. So let me just pass the text here, and while it's running, I'm just going to describe the prompt that I gave to ChatGPT. So it's just create a simple LaTeX table with 3 columns and 4 rows with headers, name, age, and city. As you can see, very quickly, ChatGPT is actually generating the table for us and is also explaining things for us, which is great, because if you are a first-time user of LaTeX or a beginner and you want to learn more about all the commands that you have to copy and paste, ChatGPT does a great job because it actually is telling you that we are using the tabular environment, and also is telling you that we are using the L to have the column left aligned and C to have the second column center aligned. So one important thing here that you have to notice is that if you just click here a copy code, sometimes you're going to get some errors, because here, as you can see, we have document class article and begin document, which we have it already in our LaTeX file. And this video is not about how to set up a LaTeX file. If you want, I have another video on that. So let's copy this text here, which is just the begin tabular and end tabular inside VS Code, and let's see what we get. As you can see, we have a nice simple table. Actually, let me put it here at the top so it's much easier to see what we are getting. So the table is nice, but it's missing a lot of things. It's missing a caption, we don't want to have vertical lines, and it's not very nicely formatted. Something better could be done. So we can actually say to ChatGPT to change this table by passing some prompt. Okay, so let me just copy and paste some prompt and I'm going to go through it together. So we are going to say the table should have the following requirements: no vertical lines because I don't like the vertical lines. The heading should be in bold, which is currently not in bold. So we want to add an horizontal line above and below the heading, which are already there, but just we tell him again. And then we are going to add an horizontal line at the bottom of the table. And the line space should be 1.5 lines. Let's actually add something else also. We also want a caption for the table. So let's press enter and let's see what ChatGPT generates for us. So as you can see, the answer of ChatGPT is always great because not only tells you the code that you just need to copy and paste into your LaTeX document, but also it gives you explanation of all the things that he has done. So it is actually telling you that the caption package is added to provide a caption for the table. So let's add that, and as you can see here from the code that it has generated, we are going to have to add this package here at the top of our document. And then we can just replace the old table with the new one. And let's see how it looks. So VS Code, and that's why I really like it, because it's automatically recompiling the document for us, is generating the table, and now I think the table looks much better. See, it's super simple. So in the future, if you want to, you can just keep the same prompt for ChatGPT, and then you can generate another table. So let me show you exactly that with Excel. So I have an Excel file open up here in my screen. So let me bring it up. So this is my Excel file. So this is the file that I have, and I want to convert it into a LaTeX table. So we can say that this is the table that we want to convert. So we're just copying it, and let's go back here and you say now. So now we are telling ChatGPT, convert the table below, which we're going to copy and paste in a second, and we're going to say use the style defined above. So again, we use Shift Enter to go into a new line, and then we say Ctrl V, and then we press Enter. So we can see that it has not added another package, so we can just copy and paste this one into our VS Code here. So we just copy and paste this one. And then we have the table that we had in Excel before. So let me just bring it up. So this was the table that we had in Excel, but now we have it in LaTeX. I think it's extremely powerful. We can also say a few things. We can also say write, for instance, if you want to modify this table, because in Excel we didn't add a total column because we were lazy, we didn't want to add a total, but we can actually prompt it to ChatGPT. So we can also say in ChatGPT at the bottom here, send a message, we can say change the following, and then we can go into a new line and we can say write a total row. So let me just copy the prompt. So we can say write a total row at the end of the table for the hours column. And then we want to color the line, and the table should also be 100% of the line width of our document. So if we press enter, you will see the magic that ChatGPT is going to add the total column at the bottom of the table, is going to change the layout, so expanding it a bit, and is going to color our table. So we just copy this import. So we're going to add it here at the top, and then we just have to get the begin table and end table, and then paste it in our document. So let me actually remove that section because it no longer applies, and this is great. Another nice thing that if you want to be even lazier and you don't want to pass all the prompt about the style of the table, or you want to use a more standardized style. You can also use the Booktabs style. Okay, so I'm going to show you exactly that in a second. So I'm going to be just using the Booktabs style inside ChatGPT. So let me write the prompt. So it's convert the following table into LaTeX, which we're going to be pasting it in a second. This time we are also going to be copying the top row that we didn't copy before, which is called task list. And we are saying that they should span across the whole table. And let me just show you that in a second. So here we have task list that before we didn't copy. So we want to say that it should span across the whole table. And then we are going to say that we want to use the book tab style. And we also want to add the row at the end of the table showing the total number of hours worked. So here we press Shift Enter. Again, we just copy and paste the table here. So Control V, and then we press Enter. And again, we need to make sure, the only thing is important that you make sure that you have all the packages imported. And at this point, we don't have the multi-row package, which is fine. And then we are going to be copying the content of the table inside here. I haven't checked the results. Actually, I'm noticing that the hour sum was correct and everything was fine. But of course, before you publish this paper or before you publish anything or you do anything, just make sure that everything is fine and is accurate. So here we are actually getting an error. And let me just have a quick look at what is happening. So here we have that we have all the packages. So we have caption, and we didn't import actually the book tabs. So it's all my fault. So we are going to be adding this package here. And now you can see that the table is already compiled. And as you can see, there is a bit of an error actually. So let's prompt that and let's actually tell ChatGPT that he made a mistake. So we can see here that it's actually added the task list as a multi-row, okay? But we want to have as a row spanning across the whole column. So let's go, actually now is the right time to switch to Bing AI. So now we have the Bing AI, so we have like bing.com/chat. So this is going to take us to the chat. So let's do exactly the same thing as before. And let's do the same prompting. So we can, it says you can ask anything. So you can have up to 2000 words, which is a lot. So again, we go enter, and then we grab it from Excel. So let's copy this one here. And maybe it's my prompt that is not well written. I mean, I wouldn't just blame only ChatGPT. And we can see that here is pasting it in a little bit of a strange format, but let's see what it happens. So convert the following table into LaTeX, the task list row. Okay, so here already I should have added a space, should span across the whole table. Use the book tab style, also add a row at the end showing the total number of hours. Let's see what happens. So actually there is a difference between ChatGPT 4 and ChatGPT 3.5, and not always you get the same results. So let's just copy and paste this one here, and this should be much better because I can already see that is better, and this is perfect. So this was actually a good example. So perhaps if it's a simple table, just use ChatGPT 3.5. Otherwise, just move to ChatGPT 4, which is free on and online on Bing. I want to just create a few other tables because I just show you at the beginning. So I will just write the prompt here. So here we want to create like a simple demographic table with the book tab style. So I'm going to be generating this, and I'm going to be showing the result. And I promise you at the beginning that I would have used Overleaf. So in Overleaf, we just have to create an account and we create new project, and we just create a blank project, and we're going to be calling it example. So here we can just simply copy and paste our table. We have to be careful because we don't have all the packages imported already. So the first thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to be importing like the table, But I'm noticing that ChatGPT 4 inside Bing AI is not telling us which package we need, okay? Because it's not as verbose as the other. So just here at the top, we are going to be importing all the packages, and then we press Shift Enter. And this has generated the table for us. One of the last few things that I want to show you are, which are very nice, I think, are how you can describe actually your experiment to ChatGPT. For instance, if you did an experiment and you want to use ANOVA to analyze your data, you can actually tell ChatGPT, let me show you the prompt, and say, I'm a senior scientist and I've performed an experiment in which I want to determine how the fertilizer types affect my final crop yield. I've used 3 different types of fertilizer and I've performed a one-way ANOVA to determine the effect of fertilizer type on crop yield. Please create a LaTeX table and the heading should be independent variable, the f, sum square, mean square, and f value and p value. So this is just a classic ANOVA table. So if we are going to be passing this prompt, is going to be generating a table for us that then we can use, and then we just have to replace the values that is providing, because they're going to be fake data, with the one that we have. So this one here. And finally, I want to show you how to convert a table with very long text inside in LaTeX. Because if I'm going to be asking, so just ask ChatGPT to convert the following table. So convert. So if we just pass this prompt here, is going to be, I believe, is going to be converting the table, but the main problem that we're going to be having is that the text is going to overflow. And this is not what we want. We don't want that the text is bigger than line width, because otherwise it doesn't look nice. So let me just copy and paste this one, and let's just copy and paste it here at the bottom. So we press Ctrl Enter. And then, as you can see, it's not nice because this text is overflowing. So we can ask ChatGPT to convert the following to a LaTeX table using a Booktabs style. And the problem is that sometimes when I paste it doesn't add spaces. And the note columns contains a lot of text. The table width should not exceed, and we're saying that the table width should not exceed 100% of the line width, and the text in the cell in the column note should not break across multiple rows. So what we need to do is just go back into Excel and simply copy the table again. So Shift Enter Enter and then Ctrl V, and then this is going to generate the table for us. And the last thing that we need to do is just to copy this one into our document. So as you can see, this time it has not worked. And it is interesting to test these tools because they keep evolving. And the important thing is that here it doesn't work in ChatGPT 4. But I know that it works in ChatGPT 3.5. So let's go back and just write the same prompt that we wrote just here at the top. So we are going to be writing this prompt here in ChatGPT 3.5, and unfortunately it's a bit of a trial error, and here we have also some a small typo, and we're going to be going into Excel again, and we're going to be pasting the text, and now it should work, because ChatGPT 3.5, at least inside this interface, it provides you with a little bit more of information. As you can see, we see all the packages, and that makes a difference. So you will see that this time is actually working. I can already see from the code that is working, because it has is going to be just defining a new type of column. So the only thing, as we did before, we need to make sure that we have all the packages. So let's just stop here, and I will let you read, and in future, like, you should read, of course. We just need to make sure that we have Booktabs and we have tabular X, which is actually the new package that we need, and probably that's the issue that we were getting with ChatGPT 4. And here we can just say begin table, and we're going to be copying and pasting it inside here. And then we press Command Enter, and this time it should have worked. Yes, fantastic. So we can see that now it has worked, and we have our table that is the same as the text width. If you're still listening, I really would appreciate if you could just drop a like and subscribe to my channel, because I have also a lot of other videos about LaTeX that you may find useful. So thank you very much for listening, and if you want to learn more, just visit my channel. Otherwise, see you in the next video.